Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'll be sharing a quick video on how to make a mermaid skirt. So if it's something you're interested in, please keep on watching and let's get started. So I'll be using a doll face material for this pattern, and it's actually going to serve as a lining to the sugar lace I'm using for the dress. So you're going to be needing about 2.5 yards of fabric or 3 yards of fabric, depending on how full you want the lower part of the dress to be. So when folding this material, make sure you fold about 15 to 20 inches because this is a mermaid skirt and you want the lower part of the skirt to be full and long. So make sure you try to fold between 15 to 20 inches. I used about 20 inches for mine. So the top of this material will serve as my waistline. You can as well mark about 1 inch or half an inch for your waistline, but for me I'm just going to leave it this way. So now I'll go ahead and measure from my waist to my hip measurement. So it's between 8 to 9 inches, but here I'm using 10 inches because of my allowance at the top. So make sure you measure about 8 to 9 inches for your waist to hip measurement. So me, I'm using 10 inches. That's because of the allowance I want to add at the top. So right now I'll just use my ruler to connect the marks that I made. So now I'll be measuring the full length of this skirt, and what I'll do right now is to place the tape at 16 inches. So from my shoulder to my waistline is actually 16 inches, so that's why I'm removing about 16 inches before I measure the full length of the dress. So the full length of this dress is actually 60, but I'm adding about 2 inches extra for the allowance of the dress. So you can as well measure the full length of your dress, then mark it on the fabric. So next I'll be measuring my waist to my knee measurement, and my waist to knee measurement is actually 23 inches, but because this is a mermaid skirt, I'm going to be coming up by about 2 inches. So if I remove 2 inches from 23 inches, it will give me 21. So I'll be using 21 inches as my new knee length because of the mermaid pattern that we are drafting. So now I'll just go ahead and use my ruler to connect. So the next thing I'll do is to divide my waist measurement by 4. So whatever it gives me, I'll go ahead and mark it like so. So I'll just mark my waist measurement divided by 4. Then I'll add 1.5 inches for my sewing allowance. So I'll go ahead and divide my hip circumference also by 4. So my hip divided by 4 is actually 10 inches. Then I'll now add 1.5 inches as well for my sewing allowance. So the next thing I'll be measuring is my knee measurement, and how I'll get that is whatever I have on my hip, I'll remove 2 inches from it. So my hip divided by 4 is actually 10 inches. If I remove 2 inches from 10 inches, it will give me 8 inches. So that's what I'll be marking for my knee measurement. And after that, I mark that 8 inches, I'll add 1.5 inches for my sewing allowance. So now I'll go ahead and use my curved ruler to connect my waist to my hip. So I'll be connecting my actual measurement first before I connect the allowances. So right now I'm connecting my waist to my hip, then I'm connecting my hip to my knee measurement, as you can see. So now I'll go ahead and connect the knee to the hem of the skirt. So this will form our mermaid skirt, as you can see. So remember, I folded enough at the beginning when we were drafting. So depending on how wide you want it to be, you can fold as much as you want to. So now I'm going to go ahead and connect the allowances as well. So right now I'll connect my waist to my hip and I'll connect the hip to the knee. So I'll use my ruler to just connect that knee part straight down like so. So I didn't need to put any extra allowance at the hem of the dress. So if you want to add that to your skirt, all you need to do is use your nipple to nipple measurement and divide it by 2. So my nipple to nipple measurement is actually 8 inches, and 8 divided by 2 will give me 4. So I'll go ahead and mark that 4 inches, and I'll also come down by about 4 inches as well. or 5 inches, depending on how low you want the darts to be. So now I'll go ahead and use my ruler to just connect, and I'll mark half an inch on both sides of that dart. So this will, on both sides of that line I just marked, and this will serve as my dart. That's if you want a dart on your dress. And if you mark a dart on the skirt, make sure you add extra 1 inch allowance to avoid any shortage. Please make sure you add 1 inch allowance. For me, I'm not going to be using a dart for this. I'm just going to go ahead and leave it that way. So if you want a dart on your skirts, just make sure you add extra 1 inch for the allowance. So I usually don't add that on my skirt. All I do is I'll just come down by 1 inch from my waistline, and I'll use my curved ruler to make a curve like so up to the tip of the waistline. Just watch what I'm doing. So this also works really well. It comes out very fitted as well. So now I'm done drafting, and I'll just go ahead and cut it out. So now I'm going to go ahead and cut out this 1 inch I came down by as well. So we're done drafting the front pattern of the skirt. It's time to draft the back. So for the back, I folded my fabric into two as well. So I'll go ahead and place the front pattern on the back like so. So while placing the front pattern on the back, I made sure I left about 1.5 inches for my zipper allowance. So you can see what I'm doing. I'm making sure it's 1.5 inches all the way down. So please don't forget to add your zipper allowance. So that's all, and right now we're going to go ahead and cut it out. So now I'll go ahead and open up the zipper allowance I left for the back. So that is all for our mermaid skirt. Quite simple, right? Please let me know in the comment section if you want me to make a video of how I sewed the skirt. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.